Hi, it's Steve from EasyTRC, and I wanted to talk to you about some features that are in the system that will help with sales prospecting and knowing which companies have already been contacted, which companies already have contracts, which companies are on a do not call list, and how you can maximize some efficiencies in looking at old campaigns and see where some companies have been maybe ignored or dropped off radar the past couple years, and you can dig around and find some people that may be great prospects for bringing back into the chamber. So let's get started. Here I've already logged into the system here, and I see the home screen showing me a lot of recent sales in the system. A lot of links all over the place here that I want to point out and going to talk through here for a bit. You can actually click on salespeople and see what they have sold already. So you see the contracts from the current campaign. You see the contract statuses. Some are submitted, most are sold. Got a lot of information there. And then down here is the little secret sauce here. You see what they sold in previous years. So this guy has sold something, a lot of things actually in several years in the past, and that's great. So he's a pretty active user for quite a long time. But if we go back to the home page sheet, let's go back to the home page here, and I want to dig in from the buyer's perspective. I can actually get to that information from the salesperson, but let's approach it from this other way. Here's a Joe Mockins dealership. It's a Toyota dealership, I think, here in town. Got some information about their locations, a bunch of contact information, and here are all the contracts from 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014, 2013. So it looks like they started in 2013. So they've been with this chamber or this chamber's TRC for quite a long time, and that's great. Looks like Michelle Kropp and then Lily Vianello have been working with this person. But what I'm seeing here is they've already got a contract for this campaign. These aren't necessarily sold contracts for this campaign. This is any of the contracts for the current campaign. So it's important to note that it would be here. If somebody has started one but it isn't approved just yet, it will be listed there. So this would probably not be a good prospect because Lily has probably already talked to that person. Looks like they're active in the past, and that's great. So this is a pretty typical client you'd see here. So let me go back to the Sell tab here. This is another way to look for companies. You can actually go, obviously, if you're on the home page here and these are showing contracts, these are probably not the best people for you to talk to because they've already created a contract and already got one rolling. And again, it may not be approved just yet, but again, somebody probably has contacted those people. But if you want to talk to other people and look for things here, you've got the product search. You could certainly look for different products, different things in this information, and dig around for things to sell. You can also sell your renewals from previous campaigns, but the feature here I want to talk about here is the search for companies. And when you click on this, you actually can search for company or customer information, and you can include or exclude the do not call list, and then you actually see all of the detailed information down here. The do not call information is over here on the right. If I click on it once, it's going to sort it one way. If I click on it again, it will sort it the other way, but notice I've got the checkbox here. It says, and by default, I don't show the do not call companies. So, but if I check that box, even if I leave this blank, I can actually search and it actually will pull up a list of everybody. And again, I can click here and click here again, and you'll see yes. So now I'm seeing companies that do not want to be contacted. So again, this is not a good example of companies that should be, or that would be good prospects because they don't want to be contacted for a certain reason. If I click on MFA Incorporated, here there is a note as to why they should not be contacted or why. More details that would be here. Also, that note pops up here. This company has indicated they do not want to be contacted for this campaign. They've got a lot of employees, but it looks like they've already got like a pre-done, pre-deal, arranged deal for the agriculture recognition banquet. So they're participating. They just don't want to be called over and over and over. And it looks like Jill has this locked up. So there again, this is a good example of somebody who's participating but does not want to be called and does not want to be harassed with additional salespeople. So let's try to find one that is a better example for that information. So let me search companies. Don't search for anything here. Let me try to find one real fast. So there's a couple examples we can pull up. One, I'm going to find ABC Supply. And so that company, we're going to say ABC Supply Company. maybe I know these guys, maybe I want to go talk to them and see what's going on, and I can go out here and prospect around and see who I need to talk to, see what's going on, and see if they bought anything in the past. In this system, in this EasyTRC, well, they've been running a total resource campaign since 2009, and they've never had a contract. So this is probably a good one. This is probably a passive member of the chamber, really hasn't gotten involved. This would be a great one to call. They're not on the do not call list, so I would give a call maybe over to Floyd or over to Al or somebody and go from there. You may want to check with your chamber first to see if you should be approaching companies like that, or the contacts in there or not. You may each chamber wants to do that a little differently. So okay, so another example of to do this would be, let me find Agents National Title Insurance, and I've got, oops, I searched on product search. Let me go over companies, and let me go to Agents National Title Insurance. And these are friends of mine here in town. They've got, if I click on this, just a title insurance company. We've got information about the company again, locations, their people, their contacts. And here they bought something in 2016. Looks like they sponsored an event and paid $1,000 for it, but then nothing in 2017 and nothing in 2018. So this is a great prospect because they bought something in the past. Maybe they were happy, maybe they weren't happy, I don't know, but either way, they have bought something in the past and nobody has approached them yet this year. So this would be a good example of somebody that you could contact because there are no contracts for the current campaign. And so, when we roll these campaigns forward into the next years, we only keep the contracts that are actually marked as sold. So any of these contracts that are sold, if you happen to put a contract in and that gets rejected, or they don't, somebody changes their mind, that does not get rolled forward. So we don't kind of leave the trash littering around the place. We only keep those contracts that actually were sold in the past. So if somebody was contacted in these years, these are just the purchases that were drugged through. So again, this is a good example of how to prospect in the system, how to keep away people on the do not call list, how to search around and do things. If you'd like another feature added to this, or you see something you'd like us to change or add, let us know. Again, it's Steve with EasyTRC. Happy hunting.